I didn't get a head start. I didn't have momentum. I definitely didn't have any certainty. There was a point in my life where I had nothing, no direction, no clarity of the future, and no real understanding of what mattered. But when you're starting from zero, you have two choices: drift and life happens to you, or decide to take control and life happens for you. What's up YouTube, it's Ben, and this video is about the mindset that has helped me when starting from zero. It's mainly about your values, discipline, and real progress. There is a quote I heard 2 years into my recovery, and I wish I heard it sooner. And that quote is that progress in the face of destruction is not only possible, but an efficient way to get rid of excess. Read that again. Destruction is heartbreaking and very discouraging, but destruction clears what comfort protects. When life strips you down to nothing, you're forced to focus on what actually matters. And I think by identifying what matters and being consistent in improving in it, that's where you see real progress. I think the best investment that I've made into me as a person was starting the gym at the age of 15, because I believe that exercise and training and the lessons that they teach you has been responsible for my encouraging recovery. I guess this topic isn't really about motivation, it's about alignment and aligning with the good morals, the positive priorities that make up 80% of your results. In this video, I think I just want to get across what has made real progress in the face of quite a severe injury. And it's been about getting my values right, getting my priorities straight, and cutting out everything else, cutting the excess, and showing up, especially when life gets hard. I think that's so important because the main thing that has been responsible for my recovery and that I live by is consistency. And what I would say about that is progress isn't built in perfect conditions. It's built when everything else falls apart, but you still show up. I think when something traumatic happens and you're reset to zero, everything stops, you have no plan and no control in the moment. The only thing you can focus on is survival. You're in survival mode and you're just trying to exist through this situation. But in those moments, something weird happens, all the noise disappears and you get really focused on getting through this. You stop caring about opinions and validation and you start caring about time, your energy, and your purpose. In the times that you're reset to zero, clarity becomes brutal because you realize some of the things you were chasing don't matter at all, and some of the things that do matter you ignored. It's scary, but this is an opportunity to go back to that quote. Losses and setbacks are terrible at the time, but they can reveal the truth. So when starting from zero, it's important to always feel like you have a chance. Have faith that recovering from this situation or loss not only is possible, but with consistent effort can turn out better than you expected. You have clarity now on what matters, so you don't need more information. You need fewer distractions, but being aware of this will make you so much more powerful. I've learned that picking your values is so much more important than you think. Your values determine your action and behavior, so you can't build discipline without them. Values are deep inside of us, so when hard days come, you're gonna fall to your values, not your goals. I think inside all of us is energy and power that we have not tapped into, so if we align ourselves properly, we can achieve anything. If your values are growth, strength, discipline, self-respect, and long-term progress, the hard days become just a part of the process, not a reason to stop. So ask yourself, what do you value? What do you respect? Your actions reveal your real values, so just be conscious of that. I love the idea of cutting the excess because I truly believe that 20% of the work makes up 80% of the results. The book 10x is easier than 2x explained this, and as over the top that sounds, it's actually just about simplifying things to achieve more. Having a singular focus produces the greatest results in that thing. I've been a victim of thinking I need more, but in reality I've learned that less is more, because in that abundance is a lot of weakness that you can't really identify. It's really difficult, but I guess that's the game. I've also heard that comfort hides potential, and as much as I would like to think that isn't true, I think there is some truth to it. When you cut the excess, cut everything that doesn't matter, you expose the fundamentals The fundamentals are always the things that make the most progress. In my recovery, those fundamentals have been sleep, training, nutrition, focus, and learning. They're simple, but they're not easy. People avoid the fundamentals because they're so monotonous. I truly believe that enough repetition creates mastery, but I may be more inclined to think that because my recovery has relied mostly on neuroplasticity, but I do think consistency beats intensity every time. You don't need more plans or new inspirations, you just need to stick with one plan of fundamentals, and cut out what doesn't serve that plan. Another point about consistency that I think is so valuable is that anyone can move forward and make progress when life feels good. But I think what I've focused on is creating a system that makes it a little harder but not impossible to move forward when life gets very heavy. And we come back to your values again, because the only thing that's going to drive you in those hard times are your values. If you're certain on your priorities and values, you'll keep going. You'll keep showing up. It may be imperfectly, but it still counts. Some days you'll make lots of progress, sometimes you'll barely make any, but it doesn't count as long as you show up. It's so important that you simplify your values and cut the excess, because it inevitably is going to get so hard. And when it gets that hard, you're not going to have any room for excess. So that's why destruction can burn away what comfort kept alive. There was a time in early recovery where I definitely felt a sense of dread, because I knew how much discipline I would need to tap into. I thought that I was basically being punished at how disciplined I would need to be. But the irony of it is, I've learned that discipline isn't punishment. It pays you back in self-respect tokens. And when you build your self-respect through discipline, it transfers over to your identity, and that's where it gets deep. It goes so deep that you become robotic, but in a good way. In a very reinforcing way. Every single workout becomes I don't quit. Every early morning says my goals count. Every distraction that you resist says I'm in control. You gather evidence on the person you're becoming, and that identity shapes how you move forward. And that's going to be so beneficial to you, because you're going to show up, especially when it's hard. You might have heard that most people overestimate what they can do in a month, but underestimate what they can do in 3 or 4 years. But I think when you stick with a structured, boring and consistent routine, you'll be amazed by the progress you can make if you stick with it long enough. Of course, I'm amazed with the physical transformation, but for me personally, I think the mental transformation has been so much greater. A new confidence, a new mindset, a new life. Not through intensity, but through just sticking with it long enough. If you're starting from zero in something, reframe it. Good. That's okay. Zero is clean, so decide your values, set your priorities, focus on the fundamentals, and cut the excess. I think for progress to be sustainable, it's not built on intensity, it's built on consistency and being aligned with what you're trying to achieve. I noticed my life changed in recovery when my values and priorities changed. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Start small, stay consistent, and remove the excess. Peace.
All I wanna do is get some time.